welcome to the Little Radio Show, where we give you small talk about big topics. You can find us every Thursday at 2 o'clock Central Time on hmsnetradio.org, on iTunes, and on thelittleradioshow.com. My name is Sandra Fernandez, and my co-hosts are Juan and Anjelica, and this week we have a great interview with Talento Bilingue de Houston, where Viridiana Maldonado tells us a little bit more about their bilingual arts programs and some of the upcoming theatrical performances we can expect from them. In addition, we take a look at Straight Outta Compton and the new AMC show, Fear the Walking Dead. In a last note, Anjelica and I give you a very close-up look at what we carry in our purses and some of the things we consider essential and why we call our tote bags purses. Talento Bilingue de Houston is an organization that provides bilingual arts education for kids and teens, as well as spectacular theatrical performances for the community. Today we're joined by Viridiana Maldonado, who's going to tell us a little bit more about what TBH does and what they're working on that we can expect to see in the next few months. Hi, Viri. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit more about what TBH is, how long it's been here, and the kind of work that you do as far as arts education.
Okay, well, our mission is to create Houston's Latino arts experience through collaboration, education, and preservation. We've been around for over 38 years in Houston in the East End. We're off of Navigation and Jensen, and we're just here to provide Latino arts to our community. Well, we offer different events throughout the year. We have concerts, plays. We even have a summer camp program for children. That offers, just arts to enhance children's, abilities. We focus on 4 things, which is music, dance, theater, and art.
What's the process if someone wants to participate?
Well, for our summer camp, there's an application that parents need to fill out for their children to go to be part of the summer camp. And it's just that easy. It starts at 8 in the morning and it ends at 6 p.m. So it's really good for parents that are working. But during the year, we have a program called HOLA, which is the Houston Organization of Latino Artists. And basically what that is children and adults get to perform in a monthly show. And from there, they get critiqued by different teachers. And they offer classes just to enhance, if they need more stage presence or, vocal practice. We have those tools available for the artist.
Well, that's really interesting, Vidi, because, I know that, it's a really large city, then there are a lot of different constituents within that city, and exactly. To kind of bring the arts to them, and I read your mission, but that's a big undertaking for any organization. So how do you go about accomplishing that in a community as diverse as Houston?
Well, it's a lot of teamwork, and we actually ask a lot of help from our community because we invite different local artists. We're like that home, right. That artistic home for everybody that needs a place to show their talents. So we invite anybody that has, artistic abilities to come out, and we help you and they help us. So
it's a win-win situation.
It's a win-win situation, of course.
That's great.
I know that Talento Bilingue is a nonprofit. TBH is a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. How can the community support your arts education programs?
Well, we are a nonprofit, so our income comes from different grants. For instance, the HAA grant, the Houston Arts Alliance, and also from donations from our community. We have a gala coming up in October, and that's a big, big deal for us because that's where we get a lot of our donations from our community. To help us with different programming at TBH.
And we'll be posting more information about the gala in our show notes.
So part of what you do is you work with children and you bring the arts to the children, and when you're going to donors and you're explaining to them the work you do, what do you tell them about why it's so important to bring the arts and make them accessible to especially Hispanic youth?
Well, it's a proven fact that children that are involved in the arts excel more in English and science. So that's a big, thing for us. And it's also a big deal for us because we offer bilingual arts, plays, music, everything that we do is bilingual.
Like
is that unique? Is that unique for Houston, Texas, or the United States?
Of course. I think Talento Bilingue is one of the only places in Houston that offers the bilingual arts education.
So when you go to class, is it fully in Spanish or fully in English, or is it you get both in the same class?
You get both in the same class.
Okay. You get both in the same class.
And we also work with other local organizations. We provide the space, and they bring, sometimes their shows. So we have a very good connection with a lot of local organizations that just don't have that space, and we provide it for them.
Okay. So talking about your participation with local organizations, I know that you've got some great stuff coming up in the fall and performances. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the performances and some of the theater pieces that y'all are working on?
Well, right now we have a concert from Javier Montiel, who is a local artist. He is going to be performing in September.
What kind of music does he play? I'm just curious
now. It's like baladas.
Okay.
So this is a perfect type of event for anybody that's in love and wants to bring,
really?
They're exactly. They can bring, you could bring your parents, you could bring your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, anybody that you want. This would be a perfect event.
So it's performed inside, not outside, like under the stars.
Exactly.
Type of thing?
No, we have a very intimate theater, and if you haven't been there,
I've been to it. It is very intimate. You just used the right word, yeah. So it is very close. The stage is like right, you can see it. Everybody in the theater can actually see it, so you're not like looking around people's heads. But
exactly.
it is a very good, pretty theater.
It's very cozy too. So, yes. So if you haven't been there, I invite you to come out and check it out. It's a very intimate place. We also have in September, we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. So we are going to have a multiple artist show, art gallery, and one of the pieces that we're going to be having is from Irma Infante, Pedro Infante's daughter. A lot of people don't know that aside from her singing and acting, she's also a painter. So we are going to have some of her pieces during the month of September to help us celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And so it's a free event. So we invite anybody from our community that wants to come out and check out, our art gallery to come and do so.
Well, the last name like that, you've got to have some weight behind you.
Infante. So, smaller donors as myself, how can I help? How can I donate? Can I donate my time? How can I donate resources? How do I get the word out?
Well, we are always looking for volunteers. So if you have the time and you want to come out and volunteer, you can definitely do that. You could contact myself, and I will get you, the time and the application. Well, for more information on TBH, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, you name it. We are on there. So just follow us for daily updates, and we have something going on every single weekend. So come out to TBH.
And we'll be posting links to the TBH website on our show notes, so please check that out. And thank you, Vidi, for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So for the last, I think, couple of weeks, the number one movie in the U.S. has been Straight Outta Compton. And, that's an interesting movie that when I first found out about, I asked Anjelica, what's the big deal about this Straight Outta Compton? Because I saw there was a lot of social activity and social messaging about it. And I didn't really know what it was about because I hadn't, seen the previews to the movie. But yesterday we actually went to go see the movie. And, I have to say, I did enjoy the movie, and it did take me back really to, the 90s, and
I have to ask. I really have to ask. Where did it take you back to? Because you don't resemble that at all. Like, that is nowhere in my mind when I think of Straight Outta Compton. Now, I heard you singing some of the songs.
Yeah.
I heard you singing some of the songs coming back, and I was like, is he really? Does he know these songs?
So Straight Outta Compton, I guess if you're not familiar, the best way to describe it is kind of the rags to riches story of Dr. Dre. It includes also Eazy-E, who was a big part of the story. Ice Cube. These are rappers who were, kind of, came into their own and, really created empires from nothing, really. They were based out of Compton in L.A., and they just kind of got together and decided they were going to bring their music to
gangster rap.
Yeah, gangster rap. Bring their gangster rap to the masses
and the mainstream.
And I think one of the lines I said in the movie was, our dream was to be ghetto stars. We wanted to be stars in the neighborhood. We weren't thinking about beyond that. And they really, really built empires around it. So, I really enjoyed the movie.
It did. It took me back to the days that I was 12 and 13. I was like, oh my Bob. This is middle school.
I think anybody who grew up around that music, like in that era, like the 90s and things, like if you grew up on that music or you at least heard it, like just knowing the story behind
the scenes,
was really interesting.
Like, so you understand that the music is actually 1980s, late 1980s.
Like, yes, that I understand. That I totally understand. I was like 8-9 years old. I don't remember that. Now the music that they were coming out with in like 1993, 1992, 1994, that kind of music.
Yeah.
That was my middle school days. And there was a few songs that they released then but then again, it doesn't matter when they started it, they were still playing it when I was 12, 13, 15.
Absolutely. Actually, there's some of these songs that
are still out there. Yeah. So 13, 14, 15. And, these are the music. This is the music. And as I mentioned on another segment, that I am an inner city kid. And so I did grow up with the bass and the cars and these were my friends and these were my outings and I lived this life.
But I think even if you weren't an inner city kid, that was the point of the movies, that even if you weren't an inner city kid, that's when rap really did something. And one of the things I said yesterday, and this is my own personal opinion, but I was like, that was when music actually meant something.
Oh yeah.
Music always means something.
Yeah, they were so poetic about it. I sit here and I say poetic when I talk cuss words.
No. Cuss words. And, some of the stuff, as I was saying, my brother used to listen to this music all the time, and I have a younger sister. And every once in a while, she'd say, "Oh, what does that mean?" And he would be dumb enough to explain to her what the lyrics were, and she'd be like, "You can never listen to that again."
I mean, even the cover art. I mean, if you remember the cover art for these things, I mean, there were certain cover arts that I remember Snoop Dogg's albums in particular that you'd pull them apart and you'd be like, "Whoa, okay." And I think from a social perspective, also, it was I answered my own question when I was in the movie. I was like, "Oh, okay, this is why it was important." Also, because it kind of tells the story of a time period when you as much as that song that they said "F the police," that song actually meant something because of the way that they were being harassed.
They went on to revolutionize music and to change the way that rap was perceived by being authentic to themselves and their experience.
I would definitely recommend the movie. I think it did receive some criticism because it left some parts out of the movie. Even though it didn't include that, I still think as a story that kind of tells as a movie that tells the story of the importance of this genre of music and this movement of just people who were from the streets and who were able to grow these empires. I mean, Dr. Dre just sold the Beats to Apple, and that was one of their largest purchases in history. So to really kind of think through that and say, this is a kid who was from the streets, who was struggling, who now is a huge entrepreneur, is really amazing.
One of the biggest criticisms of the movie is that they made them seem like nicer people than they actually were.
That's what I told Anjelica. I was like, I don't know how much of their story was true,
yes.
but in overall, you know, in just the you know, what the storyline was and what reality they've done.
Well, because
it was.
There's some allegations on some of them, and I don't know how much of it is true, on things that they did either while they were artists, while they were getting on their way up in their past before they became stars. That
but
quite
I can
honestly would not have endeared them to the general public.
No, but you know, as artists, as any human being, as artists, there is a lot of flack behind a lot of artists. To make the point that they have succeeded in what they're doing, I think should be the perspective. I think should be the point. The storylines, the bigger pictures. Well, you know, I'm going to leave it at there because I think I have a lot to say on that. So
okay, well, it sounds like it's definitely a story that was worth telling and a movie that's worth watching. So
yeah, check it out if you haven't, and let us know what you think in the comments.
So it'll come as no surprise to anyone that I am the biggest science fiction geek out there. And I know.
No, you, Sandra.
And if you're going to listen to this show with any degree of frequency, I'm going to bore you senseless with my love of all things science fiction. I've been very much looking forward to the launch of the new show, Fear the Walking Dead, which is, in fact, a prequel.
So it is a show. It's not a movie. It's a show.
It's not a movie. It's a show. It comes on AMC on Sundays.
Okay.
And what it is it's a prequel to the very successful show, The Walking Dead, which I think just finished its 5th season, which is based on a very successful series of graphic novels, also called The Walking Dead. Now, I know that you two don't watch these.
No, we are not big science fiction.
I've not watched it, but I've heard a lot of good things from other people who are like, you have to watch The Walking Dead.
Well, just to clarify, The Walking Dead, what happens in the opening sequence is the way that they set this up is that Rick Grimes, who is the central character, is a police officer, and he gets shot in trying to apprehend some criminals. And then you see where he wakes up in a hospital, I'm guessing sometime later, that's been abandoned, that you can see there's blood smears on the walls and the floors. There's something knocking up against a door that's been locked. And he goes outside to find mass graves and people that are up and walking around and trying to, quite frankly, eat him.
That sounds like a pretty scary nightmare.
It's a very scary nightmare. It's the apocalypse has happened, and he doesn't know what's going on, and he doesn't know where his family is, and anything like that. And The Walking Dead starts from there. It's in Georgia. It's rural setting. It's happens in the woods and small towns and other stuff. Fear the Walking Dead. The intent on this was to take the audience backwards a little and show them how this happened, how the world ended from the first zombie sightings, and they wanted to do it in a different setting, and so they picked Los Angeles. How is this end of the world going to happen in one of the largest cities in the world?
Oh, okay.
So everybody's been looking for...
So it's a sequel, but it's not a sequel because it's a prequel.
It's a prequel.
I always like it when they do that, when they go back and they like take you back and they tell a story.
They explain some of the things, yeah. And as I was saying, this is the time to watch it. This is the time if you're not a fan or you want to start somewhere with everyone else, with the fans. Well, not catch up, sort of catch up with the startup sort of thing.
So, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't gotten caught up, I'm about to give some spoilers. So, yes.
Oh, I like spoilers.
You know what? I'm all for the spoilers because when I watch movies with friends and they watched it before and I asked them.
I hate it when they don't tell me what's going to happen.
I do. And I have some friends that get really mad at me and they're like, I'm not going to tell you. You need to watch the movie. I'm like, just tell me.
I used to drive my parents nuts because I'd buy a book and I'd read the last chapter first. And then I would read the whole thing. I
do the same. Well, I don't do that with books. I do it with magazines. But I'm sorry. Continue with Fear the Walking Dead.
It's okay. So, in the very first episode, it opens with the first zombie sighting. Seriously, from this kid who is high and he sees what used to be his girlfriend eating a friend of theirs. They'd gotten high. He fell asleep. He woke up and all his friends are dead.
Oh wow!
And then he thinks that it's a hallucination later, the very first episode, the pilot episode, there's grumblings and people are talking about, there's this disease and it's on the internet and it's been cited in 5 cities and this other stuff, and you can start to hear that it's starting to spread. At the very end of the first episode, the main characters of the new show actually have a live, in the middle of the day, no drugs related, a zombie sighting. Someone who they hit with a car repeatedly and keeps getting up and trying to kill them.
Oh wow.
So, yes. The thing that makes this particular series and the people behind them really great is this is not a show. The Walking Dead has never been a show about zombies. The Walking Dead is a show about how people are interacting with each other and respond to these very severe crises in which zombies are a plot line. The point is not the zombies, the making the big.
So it's more about the human behavior.
It's about human behavior and the things that you are willing to do or not to do when everything that you have ever known.
Desperate times call for desperate measures,
yes,
right?
When everything that you have ever known and you count on is gone, and the only thing that you have is, can I survive today, tomorrow? I've got to get my child through this day. What are you willing to do? One of the things about this that people are expecting is that because this is supposed to be in LA and not rural Georgia, they're expecting a more multicultural cast to it. The actor Ruben Blades, who you might have seen in a bunch of different movies, including recently with Denzel Washington in Safe House, is going to be a regular on the show, and there's also several other Latino characters. One of the coolest things that happens on AMC regarding these shows is the sponsors really do customize the advertising that they do on the shows. And so on The Walking Dead, there would be all of these shows for insurance companies and cars and stuff that all had zombies or zombie themes integrated into the commercials.
I love it when they do that.
So I'm waiting to see whether or not that happens during Fear the Walking Dead as well. I know. I'm also a communications geek.
Yeah.
Well, if advertisers, that sounds like smart advertising. So why not tap into that? Those people who are watching the show or are into it, tap in and give them something special.
So, The Walking Dead, is that something I can watch? I'm sorry. Is that something I can watch on Hulu? Is that something I can watch on Netflix to watch back episodes?
Well, The Walking Dead, the
original, yes.
Seasons 1 through 4 on Netflix. Yes. Fear the Walking Dead is on Sunday evenings on AMC. Check your local listings and let me know whether or not you like the show, if you're a fan, or other things. And YouTube.
Yeah. So how many episodes are out now? How many have they done?
At the time of this show airing, there should be 3 episodes out.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's not hard. We can catch up.
We can catch up, hopefully.
Yeah.
So as we were having lunch the other day, we started a conversation. I'm not sure where it led to, but it led into our purses. And we started having the conversation about what we have in our purses. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about what you have in your purse. So Sandra, I'm going to ask you.
Well, let me just say, this is a recurring conversation.
Yes, we've had it several times.
You two, this is a recurring conversation about purses and what style of purse and what's the latest purse. And
we all have different likes to our purse. Now, what I'm very interested sometimes, and a lot of times, it's what's in that woman's purse. I want to know what she has. Not because I want it. I'm just curious as to, it says a lot about who you are and what you do throughout your day based on what's in your purse. And so I'm curious, Sandra, what do you have in your purse? What would you say is the top thing in your purse?
The thing is, I actually have 2 large plastic containers in the bottom of my closet where shoes are supposed to go that are filled with bags and purses of various sizes and for different needs.
How many do you have?
I'm not saying that. I am also the kind of person that it's not unusual for me to change out my bag or my purse that I'm using on a weekly basis. Like next week I'll be sporting another purse, and the week after that I'll be sporting another purse, and they won't be new ones. I'm just rotating out stuff, mostly because to me purses and bags are an accessory.
Yes.
Now, my sisters, on the other hand, and I have many friends, there's one purse, they carry that one purse until they buy a new one, and we're talking about it's a commitment of a year or several years that this is what they do.
Oh, commitment to one purse for a year. That sounds like a long commitment.
Yes.
That sounds nothing like me. I like changing my purse every now and then. Sometimes I find that as soon as I feel my needs are different, my purse has to be different.
Yes.
I need to be able to dig into my purse very quickly, very fast. I can't fumble around with little locks or zippers. I need to get into it now. And that's based, and really the way my life is based that month or that next half of the year is based on how my purse is going to function.
Yeah. So you asked me a question.
Yes.
What do I carry in my bags? Okay.
Now I'm curious.
Yes. Okay. So I normally have everything that I need to both do my job and pass the day without having to go back into an office or anywhere. What you will find is I have 2 zip bags with the technology items. One has things like an extra battery for my iPad and my phone. That is one of 2 batteries that I carry. I have various connectors. I have...
Now you have an outlet in your purse that has how many plugins?
I have an extension cord. I was going to get to that. I have an extension cord with 4 outlets in it. I have got one bag that's...
Juan is just getting a kick out of
this. I have extra batteries for my digital camera. I have a USB connectors and splitters. And the other bag has USB drives, has extra SD cards for my camera, has headphones and a headphone splitter and some other various and sundry things that I need to be able to do, to go through my day. And I don't always need this stuff, but I never want to need it and not have it.
My thinking was quite the same as yours, but I've noticed that what I need in my purse is based on how far I go.
Yes.
So if I'm gonna go about 5 minutes away, I kind of just whatever's in my purse is in my purse. Now if I'm gonna go about 30 minutes away, or I'm gonna be away from home for half of the day, then I utilize my purse accordingly. As a mother and a wife, I do carry, again, it's all based on what we're doing. If we're going to Galveston, which is a small island outside of Houston, about an hour away, my purse is gonna look different. I might even change it up to something different. It's all based on where I'm gonna go. What I always do carry, I have staples in my purse.
Yes.
I have staples, which was what you were talking about.
By staples, you mean things that always go
that
with
live
you.
in my purse. Yes. Things that will always have a place in my purse.
Yes.
Which to me are things like I have a thing to measure your what is it? Your heartbeat,
your blood pressure.
Yes, your blood pressure, because I have relatives who have high blood pressure, and then I also have like a diabetes to check your sugar. Again,
I don't carry medicine and medical stuff for other people.
No, I do it not only, but sometimes it can be for myself or somebody who needs it, or again relatives, because a lot of my time is spent around a lot of relatives, and so a lot of them they're older, they have high blood pressure, and so on and so forth. And
one of the things I saw in your purse last
week,
whose
purse?
Sandra's, that made me laugh was that you had a mini purse inside your big purse that you said you were using as a wallet.
Yes. Okay, so what? I have a smaller purse that basically is the size of a pocketbook. That is the, I'm just going to the grocery store, or I don't need to go anywhere. I need stuff to carry my work stuff with me. And this is something that's relatively new. And instead of trying to go through and remember everything that I need to carry with me, basically I just grab that, and it has my credit cards, a pen, a battery for my phone, business cards, but other stuff. As I said, a digital camera. I have my iPad goes with me. I have a paper notepad.
And this is in your bigger bag. Bigger
bag and a paper notepad. I'm
just gonna make note. She carries a tote right now.
I normally carry a tote.
Yeah.
An umbrella.
You carry an umbrella?
Yes, of course.
I've noticed that for a very long time now, I carry the same thing. I have a bag dedicated to my electronical things, which are to plug in my phone, to plug in the iPad, to plug in. Everything. It has a lot of things. Yeah, it even has lenses for my phone. It has another case for my phone, just in case there's a fine line when it comes to women's purses as to what you need and what you want in your purse. Let's be really honest. There are times though where I feel I need a lot of stuff, and that bag is so freaking heavy. It is too heavy, and I'm like, do I really need all this stuff? And I start pulling out, and all of a sudden I'm out and about, I'm in the streets, and I need something. I'm like, of course I don't have it. It's at home. Yes. Of course I don't have it.
The pocketbook is, as I mentioned, something new that I've done in case I don't need my entire big tote bag. If I'm going to lunch with a friend and I don't have any business meetings that day, and I'm going back to my office afterwards, I don't really need to carry my entire kit with me.
And see, meanwhile, I've had the same wallet for the last 3 years.
So we promised to post a photo of our purses in the show notes so you get an idea that we're really not exaggerating.
We are not. So to wrap this up, I did want to I want to invite you to show us your purses, to let us know what you have in your purse. What is the most important thing in your bag, besides the regular stuff? Kind of something. Do you have something unique in your bag?
Most unusual.
Yes. Share with us. Let us know.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Little Radio Show. Just remember that you can find all of our show notes and the podcast on thelittleradioshow.com. Leave us your comments and let us know how we're doing. Also, we invite you to leave us a review on iTunes. This show was underwritten by Pisco Porton, Talento Bilingue de Houston, and Kroger. You can find more about our show underwriters on the show notes. Have a great week.